Hello friends, today I'm going to talk to you about GST on export. I'm Srimati from Dr. Ambedkar Global Law Institute, Tirupati. Let us see in brief. Before that introduction, the levy of taxes is a burden actually to everyone, but even to the exporter. So the government of India has taken an initiative like Made in India as well as giving more treatment to the taxpayers of exporters. So here the traders who want to know how GST will affect the products exported and the amount of tax paid on the raw materials or input which has been used, then we can see this. And GST demands that the input output chain not be broken, and exemptions have a tendency to break this chain. So government of India is giving many by using this zero rated supply is one of the method, and which gives an address to all the consideration having by the exporters. So what is export of goods under GST? So this section IGST Act section 25 of export of goods means it's a grammatical variations or cognate expressions that takes the goods out of India to a place outside India. It's nothing but taking the goods outside India. So export means trading or supplying of goods and services outside the domestic territory of a country. What is services? Export of services under GST. So export of services means supply of any services when the supplier of services is located in India or the recipient of the service is located outside India. The place of supply of service is outside India. So in all the cases we can say as well as the payment for such services has been received by the supplier of service in convertible foreign exchange which has been given under notification, then also it is treated as services. And the supply of services and the recipient of services are not merely establishment of distinct person, that is also given under the notification in the year 2018. And supply of services having place of supply in, that is out of country, that is Nepal and Bhutan, against payment of Indian rupee also exempted, and payment is received in Indian currency. Okay. And the case law regarding this, the administrative and support service supplied to a foreign client, then the payment has received in a foreign exchange, the export of service is zero rated. So it is given under this case New Global Specialist Engineering Services Private Limited. And bank remittance certificate or foreign exchange remittance certificate also required in case export of service, and not in case of export of goods. And export of goods and services to Nepal and Bhutan and supplies to special economic zone, then payment should be received in Indian currency. How to treat export under GST? So under GST law, export of goods or services has been treated as interstate supply 75 of IGST Act, and which is covered under the same act. So the export is treated as an interstate supply. Yes. And zero rated supply under section 16(1) of IGST Act. So the goods or services which is exported shall be levied of GST levied upon either at their input stage or at the final stage. So you come to know that GST will not be levied in any kind of export of goods or services. So what is zero rated supply? We want to know it, right? Under 16(1) of IGST Act 1 gives zero rated supply means any of the following supplies of goods or services or both, we say zero rated supply. Export of goods or services are both, the supply of goods or services are both to the special economic zone, a developer, or special economic zone zero rated supply. It does not mean that the goods and services have a tariff rate of 0%, but the recipient to whom the supply is made entitled to pay 0% GST to the supplier. That is what actually zero rated supply. So how it will be levied? So you come to know there is zero rated supply, okay, export of goods and services. And this GST will not be levied on any kind of goods or services, right? And we come to know that there is about a duty drawback was provided previously before GST under this laws and export of exempted goods. So claiming the duty drawback was cumbersome process. Okay, so now it has been taken out. So it would be available for the customs duty paid on imported inputs or central excise paid on certain petroleum or tobacco products used in inputs or fuel for captive power generation. So there was some confusion surrounding the refund of tax paid by the exporter and imports. So a guidance note has been given by the Indian government clearing the doubts. So there is about a claim of input tax credit on zero rated export. So here an exporter who is dealing in zero rated goods under GST can claim a refund for zero rated supplies as per following points. So there is about an option, two options are there. Option 1 is they can supply goods or service or both under a bond or letter of undertaking subject to such conditions, safeguards and procedure as may be prescribed, that is without payment of integrated tax, and then claim a refund of unutilized input tax credit. Or the exporter needs to file an application for refund on the common portal either directly or through a felicitation center notified by the GST commissioner. An export manifest or report has to be filed under Customs Act prior to filing an application for refund. There is an option, another option too. So exporter, either there is United Nations or any embassy or other agencies or body specified under section 55, then who supplies goods or services are both after fulfilling certain conditions. So all the conditions must be fulfilled. Then safeguards and procedures as may be prescribed on paying IGST can claim refund of such tax paid on supplied of goods or services or both. So the applicant has to apply for refund as per the conditions specified under 54 of CGST, that is Central Goods and Services Tax Act. Then exporter is required to file a shipping bill for the goods being exported out of India. So here the shipping bill is considered as deemed application for refund for IGST paid. And it would be deemed to have been filed only when a person in charge of the shipment files the export manifest report mentioning the number and date of shipping bills. So electronic as well as manual shipping bill also now it is changed accordingly, including GSTIN. So modified forms also available in the official website. So the department also in process relaxing the factory stuffing procedures and necessary permission to give boost to the Indian export industry under GST. What is deemed exports? So supply of goods or services to the following would be treated as exports under GST. Supply of goods by a registered person against advanced authorization. And the supply made to an export oriented undertaking or hardware technology or software or biotechnology park units or supply of capital goods by a registered person against export promotion of capital goods authorization. Supply of gold by a bank or public sector undertaking against advanced authorization as per customs law. Filing of returns under GST for the deemed export has to be done as per the general procedures provided for export under GST. So whether they can get a refund means yes, they can get a refund as per rule 96 of CGST. And shipping bill should be filed by an exporter of goods shall be deemed to be an application for refund, and the person should be in charge of conveying carrying the export goods duly files an export manifest or an export report covering the number and date of shipping bills or bills of export. and the applicant has to furnish a valid return. They have to file a return. And the details of relevant export invoices in respect of export of goods contained in that should be transmitted electronically by the common portal to the system which has been designated by the customs, and the said system shall electronically transmit to the common portal. So the confirmation should be given. And what are the documents required for claiming exports? So there is about a list, the copy of return evidencing payment of duty. Yes, whether the duty has paid or not, for that copy of proof is required. And the copy of invoices, whether it has been exported or not. Document providing the burden of paying tax has not been passed on. Yes, for this there should be a CA, so a chartered accountant certification, or even a self-certification is more than enough. And any other document which has been required by the government now and then. Hope you understood. Until the next, it's bye from Srimati. Thank you. Stay tuned.